Whoa, Brenton, what's that behind you?
Oh, Nathan, it's classic movie banter.
Whoa, we're back.
We're back. We're back for another one. We're back around again, you know what I mean?
Back around the world in 80 days, or should I say 80 episodes, Brenton?
Hey. You know, great minds think of alike, because I actually thought of the same joke, but you beat me to the punch.
I thought of it that very second, and I still fucking beat you. I saw Brenton like walking with like a little like scrapbook of notes, and it just has like the one joke written like 10 times.
You saw me like my nostrils flare as I was like, shit, I'm going to say it. And then you took it from me, Nathan. You took that moment, but that's okay, because there'll be plenty more on this week's episode of Classic Movie Banter. You know that podcast where me, this guy Brenton, and that guy Nathan, we talk about movies that are 20 years or older, 20 years on Classic Movie Banter. And, you know, we tell you whether they're worth watching or whether they're worth storing them like in a glass bottle and throwing them into the ocean for some person on an island nation to pick up and think someone needs help, but really they just need help now because now they have the film.
Tom Hanks just gets all these DVD copies of like fucking cats.
He's like, fuck.
This won't help me survive.
But we're not doing that this episode, Nathan.
No, Brenton, it's December, where it's a brand new season, I think, in December.
What? Is it summer?
Yes, it is, Brenton. With the flowers have sprung, and now in Australia we're going to be burning alive because, you know, the world's melting.
Yeah, literally, an incinerator. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, I'll tell you what, I fucking dread Australian summers now. Like, as a kid, I'm like, fuck yeah. Now it's just like, oh God, I just want to make it to March. Like,
get down to the beach. Get down there. You know what I'm saying? Go for a swim in the ocean waves. You know, be at one with the water. Ignore the plastic. Just float there.
Oh,
you know,
no.
Tread water and have a good time. You know,
we're in a world of our own undoing. Help. We're at the 7 seasons again. So Brett and I, if you're new to the podcast, every 3 months we like to bloody take a break from reviewing movies. You know, we're sick to death of reviewing movies, even though we love it.
Hey Nathan, we fucking need it. You know what I'm saying?
Oh.
Like, as soon as you get through a bunch of episodes, like you just need something to shake it up. And I think the audience needs a good shake up as well.
True.
So what we do is we do this thing called 7 seasons. And no, there's not 7 seasons in the year, but there's a new season. And each new season we do a top 7 in something to do with films. So yeah, we're not a top 10 because fuck that shit. We're doing a top 7.
We're not BuzzFeed. We just have 7 things we like to list, and sometimes there's 3 honorable mentions attached. But we're not doing a top 10. I tell you what.
No, we're not. But Nathan, you know, I don't know why it is, but I think on this show that it seems to be me coming up with the ideas of the seasonal 7s. You know what I'm saying? Like it.
Yeah, and I love it when you do, buddy.
It's truly like one of the most enjoyable things I do on this show is come up with the topics for 7 seasons. So this week we're doing a top 7. How would you put this, Nathan? What is the title that we could use for this one?
Because the way that you pitched it to me is that you and I came up with our own individual lists of scenes in movies that when we were kids were mortifying to the point that we could not watch this scene as a child because of what it did to us, of what was going on in there.
Totally.
So I think the closest thing we can come to that is that we could call this the top 7 movie traumas. So,
yeah.
And I think it's something that everyone else has felt. I know when I've talked to my housemates and friends about the episode we were planning, like, oh, this is Brendan's idea. They're like, fuck yeah. Like, everyone's got movies where they're like, I cannot watch this. This is just, no, this is not entertainment. This affects me. To this day, this movie affects me.
There's those films that you know if you put it on and you get to that scene that you know that a little something's going to slide out of your butthole and into your underwear. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Brenton, this is my couch.
Yeah, it's not even scary. It's just, you know, that's your reaction to the scene.
Bad bowel movements, you know? Like
Yeah. I need to get it sorted. Need to get some of those, what do they call those like digestive, like biscuit things? Like, just get it all coming out. You know what I'm saying?
But speaking of shit, so Brett and I, we've got 7 things each we want to talk about. But before we get into all that, Brenton, our food episode was critically acclaimed, and one of the best parts about doing it was that we got to give Banter badges to people.
Hey, we did. They were kind of like a Michelin star, but it was a Banter badge. You know?
It was like a little shitty one made of like plastic.
Yeah, mate. We got them sitting here actually. You know, we sent them off to like each of those films distributors, and we got a return letter from each of those companies saying, the fuck is this?
like it's like some like shit badge made of like origami, and like Brendan's like, I put like 5 minutes effort into them, and they're like, we know we don't want them. It's I'm so sorry.
There is simply no place for this badge. Nah, man. Like, I'm sure that the directors of those specific films have got them hanging up. I'm sure John Favreau's got his 3 stars for his bloody cheese toasty, and he's just he's laughing away.
He is laughing away for more reasons than one, I assume. Like. But yeah, so to carry on from that theme, I thought what you and I could do today, because we always for these episodes make our list independent of each other. We have no idea what the other one's going to say. I could say anything right now, Brendan. I could do whatever I want. I've gone loose. I've gone mad. It tells you. but yeah. So no. So we thought, why not continue this theme, and let's agree on if both of us cannot watch these scenes that we mention. So maybe like. We'll put one hand over each eye, one for your hand, one for my hand, as to how unwatchable or traumatic these scenes are.
If there's 2 hands up, like one hand of mine, one hand of Nathan's, it means, guys, you should not watch the scenes in any situation. You should not watch.
Scrub over it. It's just not good. If you're gonna watch this movie for the first time, it's just. It's a confrontational experience, like the podcast itself.
Yeah, totally.
Avoid at all costs.
So Nathan, this week I'm doing something very different. I've actually made my list in order.
Oi, there we go. From least traumatic to most traumatic. Like,
I guess so. Like all the things that I guess so. Yeah. I mean, so number 7, Nathan, happens in a little film called Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone.
Holy shit! All right. There we go. Straight off the bat, we're going to Harry Potter.
One might think that, Voldemort's, face on the back of Quirrell's face, that's pretty fucking scary. And it is.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that it's not. One person might think, that cloaked figure in the Forbidden Forest that's drinking, the unicorn blood or whatever is like, that's a pretty scary image as well.
Some would even say just the fact that, Dudley has a pig's tail cut off him at one point is freakish.
The more you think about that scene, the more concerning it gets.
It's just fucked up, this whole universe. Like, how do they explain it? How does that not violate wizarding lore that, like, someone has a pigtail?
Yeah, you go to the doctors and they're just like, mate, even to the Dursleys, just like, guys, like, why didn't you come in when this first started happening? Like, this is pretty far along. You know what I mean?
It's like, also, how did your child grow a pig's tail? This has never happened in human history. And they're like, feck, like, oh. Hagrid should have gone into trouble from the Ministry of Magic for that. Like, that's just...
He should have been on... Dudley should have been on that show, was it Embarrassing Bodies or whatever it is? Like...
Yeah! It's like, how'd you get the pig's tail? He's like, oh, legally, I can't really say. And everyone's like, ooh. Like, they make a sequel to Harry Potter. It's like The Elephant Man, but it's like Dudley with a pig's tail. Like...
Oh my God. I'm a human being. Nathan,
But what actually was it, Brenton? Like...
Let's talk about the scene in Harry Potter when Harry goes to the restricted section.
Oh my God! How did I not think of this? Fuck!
That book is terrifying that he opens and the face fucking squares. What a horrible image. And I've put it down to the fact that I think, as a child, you're more scared of something that's more familiar than something that's more fantasy. You know what I mean?
How the fuck is this at the bottom of your list?
Yeah, I don't know. Like... For something that brought me so much joy as a child, which was reading and storytelling and these great things in books, for something to twist that and turn it into something that was deeply traumatizing and something I had nightmares about was just bloody awful and problematic, to my education, to myself personally. It was just a whole thing that I had to get over.
Just my growth as a human. It was just a danger.
Fuck that scene, man. That's all I have to say about that. But
that is horrible. Wait, so did you go? Were you a little bit more cautious around libraries and after this?
Well, yeah. Every day to this day, every time I open a book, I'm like, "Fuck, is it today that it's gonna get me?" You know what I mean?
I love that you mentioned the scene, Brenton, because in the Harry Potter universe, there is a book that could literally kill you, like the Monster Book of Monsters. That's
exactly.
It's so vicious, and yet it is just a book that screams at you that makes you more spooked.
Ooh, man, it's a lot.
No, when I was a kid, I definitely covered my eyes, so I'll bloody put one hand over my
eye. You're putting a hand over your eye. I am going to put a hand over my eye as well. I think it's pretty,
We're both traumatized. Great start to the list, man. My number 7 is also from Harry Potter, actually.
Wow,
It's from the second Harry Potter film, The Chamber of Secrets.
Oh, good choice. Which scene is it, Nathan?
There's so many things in this universe we could talk about. And from the Chamber of Secrets, what gets me the most is the spiders in the Chamber of Secrets.
It's a good pick, yeah. Aragog and yeah.
I don't know why J.K. Rowling did this. She's like, fuck it, let's just give Hagrid a giant pet spider, and have his own colony in the forest. It's like, and it's mortifying.
It's a fucking tarantula. It's the biggest, ugliest thing ever. I think the thing that's scariest about spiders is how they move. It's not a fluid motion. It's this hyperactive, speedy. Oh man, they're just
even the way you're talking about it puts me on edge. I'm just like, nah, I'm just having none of it. And
I saw this video on Instagram today of this spider's nest of this tarantula's spider's nest, and it was the mother or whatever was sitting next to this nest of these hundreds of tiny little tarantulas all crawling over and shit over each other because they just popped out of the nest. It just panned over to the mother that was just had the they put the legs up in front of their faces and shit, and you're just fucking hell. That thing is terrifying.
And it's funny because everyone gives Ron shit in that movie. Harry's always we'll follow the spiders, why could we follow the butterflies? But I'm like, no, Ron, and Harry's being nonchalant, just being we have to do it to save Hermione. But I'm like, no, Ron is a logical human being. He's just let's get literally anyone, even a 7th year that has proper magical training, just to come with us, so we're not us versus 1,000 spiders, giant spiders. Totally. It makes no... It's fuck, that car, rescues them. And even when the car comes, the spiders still fuck with them. It's
oh, man. The worst is, when, the spiders are, attached on the car and they're trying to get away. It's fucking just leave them alone. Just let them go,
It's so bad. And it's funny, because the reason this scene in particular really affects me is because as a child, after watching Philosopher's Stone, I wanted to go to Hogwarts most in the world. I was like, fuck yes, give me my letter, I want to be at Hogwarts. But then once I watched Chamber of Secrets, I was just like, nah, fuck it, I'm not going to go to Hogwarts. I don't want to be this close to this fucking spider's nest. I rescind my invitation. I'm get out of it.
Hey man, it's fair enough. There's a lot of things that are dangerous at that school, and I don't know if I'd send my kid to Hogwarts, if I'm being completely honest, or maybe it's a bit better now.
I'd do a Weasley thing. I'd be not be getting homeschooled. It's we're gonna bloody kick gnomes in the backyard and just you'll learn shit that way.
Hang out, fly some broomsticks, in our spare time. Have a good time. Chill out.
And
have fun.
Did you remember reading in Deathly Hallows? Because they never did this in the movie, but the spiders come back and join the battle.
Yeah. Yeah, they do.
You kind of get a glimpse of some spiders in the film, but in the book, there's a whole scene where a fucking army of them just storm Hogwarts. And I'm like, nah, fuck that.
It's just holy shit, dude. It's just stay away. We appreciate the help, but just please fuck off.
It's the worst. It's so scary. Do you hate spiders the most out of all the insects or all the animals? Out of your irrational fears, do you hate snakes more? What's your animal?
I think crocodiles are pretty fucking scary. I'm not gonna lie. I think if I had to pick an animal, a crocodile,
really,
that shit's scary. Yeah, that's fucking scary, dude. If you're caught in a crocodile death roll, or if it gets you by the foot or something, I hope it bites my toe off or something, so I can get away. Because as soon as it gets you, you're just dead, and those things are just terrifying.
Well, now I have to bloody take back the crocodile leather shoes I was getting you for Christmas, Brenton.
Hey man, I'll wear them. I'll wear them.
I'll fucking proudly wear a croc. It's fucking
I'll wear a croc. I just think they're terrifying, creatures. Good lord. That thing's ancient too, that shit's got the dinosaurs and shit in it. It's
when it survived the meteor, then they can survive anything. It's nah, not a fan.
Jesus Christ, man. That thing's a purebred killer.
I don't think I can take it seriously though after seeing it in Peter Pan. Whenever I see a crocodile, I just think of the fucking ticking clock in it.
Yeah, man, it's coming to get you. It's coming to get us all. That ticking clock of time. That croc coming to get us all.
But yeah, are you covering your eyes in this scene, man?
I'm not actually, because I'm not going to. I've decided. I was thinking it over. I think it's a scary scene. But I think, for me, there's the scariest scene in this film is actually the snake scene at the end. So, and I actually think I think what's really great about Chamber of Secrets is that I think some of the vibe of this film, the hallways with the fucking blood on the walls and shit, that's some strong imagery for a 10-year-old. You know what I mean?
It's Harry's meant to be 12 in that movie. It's imagine the therapy he'll need just for seeing that shit,
Totally.
And he goes back to the Dursleys after all this shit, and they're like, "Oh, you're a piece of shit, Harry." And he's like, "I need intense therapy." The poor kid.
You don't know the shit I've been through. You've got no idea, Dudley.
Harry comes back home and Dudley's complaining about the amount of homework he has to do, and Harry's like, "You haven't seen shit."
Mate, I nearly died. A basilisk fang went straight through this arm, bro. Like, fucking hell. Nathan, I will go to number 6 on my list now, and
Yes.
number 6 on my list is Peter Jackson's King Kong.
Oh, really? What was so traumatic in King Kong for you, Brenton?
So I'll set the scene. I was at home. Dad had this DVD which he brought home, and he was like, King Kong. Classic story, actually, like me being too young to watch something. So,
my goodness. How old were you?
So, I was 10 years old, actually. I was 10 years old.
Oh, there you go.
So, Nathan, I could handle everything in this film, from like the giant gorilla for one.
To the runtime.
You know, the runtime. Jack Black, I could handle that. The insects, you know. I could handle like it all pretty well. But Nathan, the thing that terrified me in this film was actually like the tribesmen at the start. Like this community
Really?
that's kind of like, yeah. Some of the imagery that Peter Jackson uses in this film is fucking terrifying for like a child. Of like, you know, they've got like skulls and shit everywhere, and you know they're all like the way they like pole vault onto the boat, like and shit, and like kidnap Naomi Watts and like drag it. Like it was just fucking terrifying.
It's pretty scary. You're like, this is not what I want my holiday to Fiji to be like.
I walked out of the room when they first got introduced. I was like, fuck this. Call me back when the gorillas.
Really?
Like, seriously. I was like, I can't watch it. Yeah. It
Of
was
all
too much for me.
Of all the like the adult films that your father made you watch as a kid, this is the one you walk out on. Like,
yeah, man. Like I specifically remember I walked out. I was like, this is just too much, Dad. Holy shit. Like that's fucking scary as shit. Anyway, so yeah, surprisingly, that's on my list, and it just had to be there because I'll never.
So what
forget
happened
that.
when
I'll
you
never
watched
forget
the
that moment.
1930s King Kong with the podcast? Like, did you get flashbacks to that moment?
It was hard. It brought back the trauma. I was still suffering. I was just like, no, it's a different film, and I was like, oh god, it is different. And I was like, oh, but I kept having like flashes of them, like pole vaulting onto the boat. And I was like,
It's like you're breathing heavily. Oh.
yeah, exactly. So Nathan, what's your number 6?
Well, hold up. We got to say if the hands are going over the eyes, you know. Like,
Oh shit! Yeah. Well, look, I walked out, so I've got a hand up for this one.
yeah, mate, you got your bloody barrel rolling out of the room.
I'm
It's
out
like,
the door. Yeah.
Would I cover bias? I'm trying to remember if I didn't when I saw that scene. Like, but mind you, I only watched King Kong when I was like in my late teens. So like that King Kong. So I don't know. I probably won't put a hand over my eyes. Like, I feel like when it comes to like scary death cults, in fact, this perfectly segues into my number 6, Brenton, as far as like the death cults that did scare me. Because my number 6, Brenton, is from Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom.
Ooh, right.
And while the tribesmen on Bloody Skull Island are certainly scary, nothing beats the local fuckers who are like living in like this cavern kind of like cult thing, like in like deep North India or whatever it is. And like I think Temple of Doom was the first Indiana Jones that I ever saw.
Oh, really? Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I can't remember, I was at a friend's house or something like that. And actually, it wasn't even a friend, it was like a family friend's house. And they're like, oh, let's put Indiana Jones. I would have been like 9 or something like that. And I'm sitting through Temple of Doom, I'm like, oh, this is a funnish time. Because I'm like, fuck yeah, he's got that like little like, Chinese kid with him and he's driving a car. So I'm like, fuck yeah, maybe I can drive a car at that age. But then like it goes to this like scene where like Indy like goes to this cavern and like there's like this human sacrifice part where they have like a man in a cage and they just like deep fry him and like the volcano lava or whatever it is.
Totally, I remember it very well.
Oh, and as a kid, I was just like, this is fucked up. And I remember just like turning away and just being like, nope, I'm never going to where this is filmed. This is the worst. How do people live like this? How can they voluntarily kill humans? And then I never watched Indiana Jones again. And then when I was like 12, I went to Disneyland in Los Angeles and they had the Indiana Jones theme park ride.
Mate, it's one of the best rides in the park. It's great.
Oh, easily one of the best rides of the park. Like, it's so fucking good. But at the time, I remember being reluctant to go on it because I thought it was going to be based off that scene. And like, my dad eventually convinced me to go on, and I did. And then like halfway through, you begin to see these bugs crawl on the wall as you go down. And I remember at the time feeling like, oh fuck, maybe I can't do this. But thankfully, you don't see any human sacrifice on the ride.
There's a lot of shit that happens in that, and you kind of like think you're going, oh fuck, I'm going to the Temple of Doom, oh shit, here we go. And then yeah, thankfully you don't see any human sacrifice happening in that ride, but it's still a wild ride, that ride, so yeah, man.
Yeah.
It's a good pick.
Oh, but I remember just being like, I remember, It took the theme park ride to make me like come back to Indiana Jones because that movie was just like I feel like all those movies are not designed for children.
No, I don't think so. But we watched them.
But we did. It's like, like I can, yeah, I don't know. Like, did you find that scary as a kid, Temple of Doom?
Yeah, I did actually. I didn't find it super scary. I don't think it was closing my eyes worth scary, but it had a vibe to it that I was like, this is dark.
Because doesn't like Spielberg talk about how he was like going through like a divorce, whatever at the time, so he was just like making it really angsty. Like that was his.
Oh, really? I had no idea about that. But that, yeah, right. Interesting. Very interesting.
So no, so I definitely covered my eyes, but like, would you call it that traumatic? You'd cover your eyes for that?
I would not myself, unfortunately, but
you got bigger balls, Brenton. I knew it.
I can see why it would be though. Well, Nathan, I'll take us now to my number 5.
Can I just make a little point here, Brenton? Like, I feel like this is very therapeutic. I actually feel better about these movies. Like, I know, getting this shit off my chest.
This is a positive experience to be going back through this and like just picking our personas apart and making sure we're okay, making sure we're healthy in ourselves, and getting this
It's so
out.
convenient that you brought like glasses and a little clipboard with you, and like you got a little pen like scribbling notes. Like,
hey man, I'm here to listen. Let's go.
Thank you.
Nathan, number 5, I think we're up to. Yes, number 5 is actually another Peter Jackson film, and it's Lord of the Rings, The Fellowship of the Ring. I've spoken about this story on the podcast before.
Really? I didn't think there'd be anything in here that'd be that traumatic, considering how much you love this movie.
Well, this is the thing. This is a happy story, this story.
Oh!
It was deeply traumatizing as a child, and I've spoken about this cinema experience as one of my favorite film experience of all time.
So that's your favorite and also your least favorite in like the same movie. Like, what a wild ride.
And let me tell you why. So I was fucking terrified when I saw this as a 5-year-old. I was like in the cinema and I was shitting myself. I was like literally hiding under the seat.
Really?
Specifically
wow.
whenever the Black Riders would come on screen, the Nazgul, yeah. I was fucking terrified
your parents dragged you
of
along
those.
to the cinema at age 5 to see Lord of the Rings. Like,
hey man, it was the midnight screening.
5's young to know what the fuck's going on.
It was a midnight screening. They probably didn't have a babysitter, let's be honest. So, yeah, I went along.
I was about to say, how do you even keep a 5-year-old awake up at that late?
Man, I was awake. This movie fucking kept me awake. Those Black Riders, I was like, holy shit, this is the scariest fucking shit. I was under the seat. I was like, oh my God. But I cared for the characters at the same time. And like I said, I've told this story on the podcast before. At the end of the film, I was very emotional. I cried for the first time watching a movie. Like when Sam swims out to Frodo, and then they leave the group, they leave the Fellowship, and they go over the mountainside, and he goes, "I'm glad you're here with me, Sam," and and they move on. It's a very emotional moment, and then everyone stood up and clapped, and it was just this magical moment in the cinema that I was like, "Wow, movies, man."
Other people were like, "Why won't this kid shut up? Like,
why won't this kid stop screaming?"
Like but trying to watch
there's Black Riders. It took me a few years to get over it, dude. Like every time we watched that movie, like I couldn't watch the scenes with the Black Riders. I was just so scary, especially when they go into the
Would you ever scrub? Would you ever like skip them?
No. I'd let it play and I'd just like not look. I'd cover my eyes. And especially that scene where they go into the pub, like because they go to the Prancing Pony, I think it's called, and then Aragorn kind of like shows them to his room, but you don't see that, and so they go into the Hobbit room and they like all lift their swords and they just stab the beds.
That's right. Yeah.
That shit.
Is that why you get a little like PTSD whenever you go to hotels now? Like.
Yeah, man, I can't handle it. I'm like, man, some fucking Black Rider's gonna come in and stab me through the stomach in my bed.
That is pretty mortifying. Like, have you ever seen fucking, speaking of like stabbing beds, have you ever seen King Lear, the one with Ian McKellen?
No, I have not. I've not.
Not King Lear, fucking it's Richard III. That's it. Richard III with Ian McKellen.
I have not. No.
There's a scene in it. Don't watch this movie, it's not good. But speaking of stabbing in beds, watch this scene on YouTube. There's a scene where Robert Downey Jr. gets stabbed in the bed, and like sword comes up through the bottom of the bed, and like he gets assassinated.
Oh wow!
Yeah. It's really really good. And so if you want to like get over your fear of being stabbed in a bed, just watch Robert Downey Jr. because it's all right.
I can get amongst that. I'll have to look it up after this. Like I will definitely do that. Anytime Ian McKellen's delivering some Shakespeare, I'm down. I'm down for a watch. I'll get into it. Why not?
Who also was in Lord of the Rings. So like, I don't know. Like, I don't know if I would have covered my eyes during this scene. I'm trying to remember if it was that scary. I mean, it was pretty scary, but I think there were scarier parts in the movie for Fellowship. Oh, actually, no. In Fellowship, the scariest part I found as a kid was when fucking Galadriel goes apeshit over the ring.
Oh, yeah, man. That's a scary moment. Yeah. True. Respect.
I was like, because it's Kate Blanchett, and you're like Australia's sweetheart, Kate Blanchett. What an amazing role. And then she like fucking like turns like a heroin addict at one point.
And she talks with that voice.
She
like
turns blue and like her fucking
become a queen, terrifying, whatever the fuck it is. Yeah.
No more.
Yeah, totally.
Like, and that would have been really interesting seeing her get the ring, but like Kate Blanchett was like and then she goes back to normal. She's like, that was fucking weird. Like, and Frodo's just standing there like,
know. Gosh.
Oh, I was like, I'm gonna go now, and she's like, yeah, you probably should.
Yeah, man.
So
good pick.
Nah, my eyes are more covered for that scene, so they're staying open.
Good pick. All right, well, I'm gonna put a hand up, and just because I remember I was literally hiding under the seat, so in honor of that, my hand is up. But yeah, good times. Nathan, what's your number 5?
Number 5 for me, it's from I completely lied before. There is one movie on this list that we have done on the podcast. It's Jurassic Park.
Hey.
There's the scene in this movie that really got to me. I don't even know if you remember this, Brenton, in the movie. But there's a scene where like the T-Rex first comes and, it's like stomping about. And like, the water ripples, all that kind of shit. And like the lawyer gets out of the car and he hides in like the portable
How could
toilet.
I forget that, Nathan? How could I forget it?
It's so good. And like, it's great watching it now as an adult. But as a kid, you see this lawyer and like, I would have been like 5 or 6 or something. I'm watching this movie. And like, you see the lawyer like go into the toilet and like he fucking closes the door as if this is going to protect him. And the T-Rex is immediately privy to it. And he's like, all right, there's an easy pick. So the T-Rex like breaks the like whole like walls down of the portaloo. And you just see the lawyer just like shaking like to his core on this toilet seat. And the fucking T-Rex like swallows him whole. And like, as a kid, this scene was so traumatic because it was the first time I'd ever seen in a story a character die senselessly. Like, it wasn't like a noble death,
Right.
or it wasn't for like development or whatever it was, or they weren't going to come back. It's the first time it's like, nope, here's a character just dies for no reason. And I was like, oh God, oh no. And then the worst part about it, the reason it really stuck with me, Brenton, is because later on in the movie, they reveal that the lawyer died, and all the other characters are like, oh, well, he was a lawyer, so we don't really miss him. And so as a child, that immediately convinced me I should never become a lawyer.
That's so funny. But also deeply traumatizing.
Because I think, well, if I'm going to get eaten by a T-Rex, no one's going to miss me. Like
Exactly, yeah. Nathan, that's a great pick. But for me personally, I just love dinosaurs too much to like be scared of it. You know what I mean? Like, it's just that thing of, I don't know. Like, in Jurassic Park when I watch it, I'm like, wow, look at the majestic dinosaur. Even if it's trying to viciously kill all these people, wow, look at it, how cool. So yeah, I don't know if I will cover my eyes for this one, but hey man, go for it because I get it.
Oh mate, like I can watch it now. Obviously, when we did Jurassic Park, I was like, no, I can see this lawyer get killed. But like as a child, I was like, I remember as the movie finished, I'd ask my parents just like, But why did the lawyer go? And then mum and dad kind of like just shrugged and they're like, no one cares. And I'm like, oh, okay, I see how it is. So yeah, sorry, I should say my hand is very much still over my eyes. Oh, actually, no. I think just by pure chance, because that movie was like my first like needless death, that's why the hand was over.
Yeah,
I think if I was like a couple years older, I'd be fine. So actually, no, my hand is definitely not over my eyes. Brenton, we're both watching this eyes open.
Wonderful. Good to know.
So what's number 4?
Nathan, we're heading back to the Wizarding World of Harry Potter.
Goodness.
I needed to put both in the list because this one was the one that fucked me up.
Oh, really?
Nathan.
More than the fucking, whatever it was before.
The book. Nathan,
the book and the spiders.
There was a good couple years where I was pretty fucked up from this. It's from Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban.
Really? Oh my goodness. What did Prisoner of Azkaban do to you? Isn't it like the lightest of them?
Nathan, what do you think the scene is I'm going to talk about?
Prisoner of Azkaban. Okay. I mean, seeing Sirius's soul leave his body is pretty fucked up. Like that's
true.
That's pretty traumatic. What else is traumatic in Prisoner of Azkaban? Because I want to guess this. Is it Dementor related?
It is not. You get one more guess.
Okay, fuck. Listeners, work with me. Send me your thoughts. Tweet at me, even though the episode's already been made. It's not. And it's not the monster. It's not Monster Book of Monsters, is it?
No.
Fuck. No, I've burnt them all. What was it?
Nathan, werewolves are fucking terrifying. Werewolves are absolutely fucking terrifying. And this film...
They're pretty mortifying, aren't they?
This film fucked me up. Like, I'm not going to lie. This film really fucked me up, yeah. The scene which features like the human kind of morphed werewolf thing.
Oh, when Lupin transforms.
Yeah, that thing.
By the way, we should have said this at the start, but spoilers for all these movies. Like, sorry, anyone who wanted to watch any of these.
So yeah, when Remus Lupin turns into a werewolf, that thing that is chasing them is fucking horrifying and scary and needs to fucking die in a hole because, God, I do not want that thing coming after me. Nathan,
Also,
I was fucked
I
up.
haven't seen werewolves look like that before, like the actual design for it.
No. Yeah, man.
It's like a hairless, like, humanoid thing, isn't it?
Yeah. It really messed me up. I went home and I was like terrified for like the whole year of werewolves, and I go to the library, like the junior school library, and I go to the library and there was like this book that had like monsters in it and had werewolves, and I remember there was this image that just scared the shit out of me, like that was in that book.
Ooh.
And it all started from this film. Like it really fucked me up. My dad used to tease me that I was scared of werewolves, and I was like, man, they're fucking terrifying, man. Don't tread lightly, dude.
Your father like buys like a werewolf head and like wears the mask like when he makes you breakfast.
This one day he found this like huge. My younger sister had this like huge, like basically like it's like the size of like half a human. It's like a good solid, probably 3 feet tall. This little like this teddy bear, right? It's this big teddy bear.
Okay.
And he came in one night. I was like had the lights turned off. I was about to go to sleep. And he just like opened the door and like threw it in and made like a wolf noise. And I was like, fuck that. Like it was like and then he came in like laughing and I was crying. Like I was so upset about it. I was just like, I'm so scared of this shit, dude. Like, and I don't know what it was about
That's fucking amazing. I love your dad for doing that. That's fucking great.
Yeah,
it's like he's been given the gift of a child and he just traumatizes him for a natural.
I know, right?
Werewolves. Like, oh.
Yeah, man, it got me.
That's great.
It's terrifying. Yeah.
I tell you what, that werewolf was quite spooky. I remember as a kid watching this in the cinema, and I remember when Hermione started like howling at her, I was thinking like, "Shut the fuck up, Hermione!" It's like what are you doing?
Like, it's like, bitch.
She's like, "Oh," and Harry's
dude.
like, "What are you doing?"
I literally thought the same thing. I was like, "Bitch, just stop, man. Like, don't do that shit. You know, just leave it alone. Leave it alone. Don't do it."
It's even scarier because you see Sirius try and tackle it, and like Lupin like wrecks Sirius as a dog in like 2 seconds. Like he like kicks the dog away, and like Sirius is down for good. like they're not safe. I'm like, oh, this idiot. Like, oh, how do they fucking get like rid of him again? Because like Lupin rocks up.
Oh, Buckbeak saves him.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's right.
Oh, dude, that's the other scene that was fucking scary. Like with the werewolf, was like when classic scene that is stolen. Like
when they're like hiding behind the tree or whatever.
Yeah, dude, and they're trying to get around it. They're trying to like edge around it, and then he pops out from like the fucking other side. It's just like, fuck, man, just none of that. Thanks, Buckbeak, for getting rid of that because
these Harry Potter movies, they're so fucking scary. Jeez,
yeah, dude.
They say they're for children. Like, I can't. Okay, you know what? My hand is definitely over the eye for these for bloody Lupin. Like, oh
yeah, my hand's up.
You know, shit's fucked when Snape looks terrified. You know what I mean?
Yeah, dude. Yeah, what a great moment though. Well done. The team behind Prisoner of Azkaban.
But yeah, you know when Snape is like, "Fuck this." It's like, oh, what a moment. So both our eyes are covered.
Yeah, man. We can't see, so no run away from a werewolf for us. Nathan, what is your number 4?
My number 4 is comes from our second favorite franchise, Brenton, and that's from the Bond movies. God.
I was part of me wanted you to say Rocky as well, like just so I could be like, what could have possibly like traumatized you from Rocky? Because I wanted to know. But Nathan,
nothing could traumatize me from Rocky except for the sex robot. So no,
it's true.
No, it's from Casino Royale, Brenton.
Right.
And I think it's the first ever Bond film I watched actually, which is bloody peaking. Like when it comes to your introduction to the Bond franchise.
Totally.
I didn't see it in cinemas, but I think I saw it like immediately when it came out on DVD. So it would have been like 07 or something like that. I saw it. I would have been 12 and I would have just been hitting puberty. And the scene from Casino Royale that I found the most traumatic was when Bond gets tortured and he gets like fucking whacked in the nuts.
Dude, that shit's fucked, man. Like, that shit's, like, full on. With, like, that rope, and bloody Mads Mikkelsen is, like, just fucking, like, swinging it around, and then he just kind of will do, like, the light hit, like... And, like, even when they, like, cut out the bottom of that chair, and you're like, what are they doing? And then he just sits down, and I was just like, oh, no. Oh, God, no. Oh, no. It's like that, you know, that, like, say, like, that's when he knew. he fucked up.
And it's funny because like Bond is like, oh, I've actually got an itch down there. You mind scratching it? And like fucking Mads like whacks it, and you're like,
dude, yeah. I think like it traumatizes like Daniel Craig does a great job in that scene because it is traumatizing Bond in that moment.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
It's like it is like fucking him up. He is just like he starts like giggling. He's like he's like, oh man, I can't imagine how bad it would be. Like holy shit.
oh, it's great. Like it's funny as well watching this movie with both guys and girls in the room because you can see such a physical reaction from the men watching this movie. It's like,
yeah, totally.
I remember like I would have just been hitting puberty
boy.
and like you're where you begin to really notice your bits and pieces. And I remember just sitting cross-legged the whole fucking scene, just being like, nah, this is fucked up. Like, nah.
No. No, thank you.
So,
no, I don't need that in my life. Jeez, no.
Yeah, I was just like, this is... But also, like, I choose this film especially just for every time someone gets their nuts kicked in the movie.
Yeah.
Like, every time, like, it's mostly not for comedic effects, but every time I see a character have, like, a ball, like a tennis ball get whacked in the nuts or something like that, I'm always just like, oh... I'm like, I can't look at this, like... Oh.
Totally, man. Hey, well, you got me sold. My hand is covering my eye.
Yeah, mine too, buddy. It's like, oh, the poor fuckers. I want to hear stories from how they made this. There must be some movie set where where an actor genuinely got whacked in the balls. Like, there must be a movie where they did do this.
Surely. Yeah. Nathan, we're getting to the top 3.
Oh my goodness. I'm already feeling some PTSD through this list. I was saying this was helping, now it's just getting worse. Like,
the top 3 is bad. The top 3 I was like I'm still struggling to like make an order out of this. But I'm going to 3 and 2 can interchange easily. Like easily. But I'm going to go with number 3.
I'm also curious if, so far we haven't had any crossovers yet, Brenton, so I'm very curious if we managed to strike gold at the end.
I don't think my number 3 is going to be a crossover because number 3 is 2002's The Time Machine starring Guy Pearce.
What? This is a deep cut. I know nothing about this movie, man.
Nathan, this is based off that old classic book, that old novel, The Time Machine.
Like the H.G. Wells book.
And it's a...
Jeez.
Yeah, and it's a film adaptation of it. Fuck my life. Fuck this movie, dude.
What
like
is
I've
it?
never
What's the
watched
actual
it
story
again.
of the movie?
So it's a guy that loses. I'm pretty sure he like loses his wife. Like is his wife or his girlfriend? I don't know. Passes away basically, and someone close to him passes away, and he builds a time machine in order to. He wants to change the past basically and save this person's life. But the thing is, the time machine keeps going forward, and so like. That's all I'll say about it. Nathan, it's fuck this movie, dude. It's fucking terrifying. Because like the premise of it, you're like, cool, we're going through time. You go to like the future. It's like this future setting. And you're like, I think you go to our time now, actually. And like you see like the International Space Station or something, I remember. But he goes like something happens to the moon or something, I'm pretty sure. And so like there's been like 1,000 years in the future or something where basically like humans had to like, I think it's like they started living underground or something, but like a section of the population still stayed above and became a bit like malnourished and shit and whatever. And so, but like it's all become like very tribalistic. We're all just kind of like living off the land or whatever. But you're not introduced to like this information. He's just dropped into this setting, and he's with these tribesmen, like, you know, they're all like sweet and lovely and having a good time, you know, hanging out. And you're like, oh yeah, cool. He's just like some scientist like taking some notes and checking this place out. And then this tribe gets fucking attacked by these creatures called, I'm pretty sure they're called Morlocks.
Oh.
And they become like the main antagonists of like the film.
Is this a
Like,
horror
they become
film?
like it basically becomes one. Like a quarter of the way through the movie, you're like, what the fuck are we doing here? Like, and why can't he leave? Like, because he loses the time machine, he's fucked and he's stranded in this time period, and it's absolutely fucked. I want you to look up right now. I want you to watch it live on air. I want you to look up on YouTube the Time Machine. Morlocks, or like clips of the Morlocks, or like the Morlocks attack or whatever, and look at these fucking things.
Okay, I've got the video up, Brenton. Okay, they're coming through the dirt. It's like these like skeleton-like kind of... Holy shit. This is crazy. Oh, I see Guy Pearce. He's got a good beard in this movie. What the fuck? They're like kind of monkey skeletons, if that makes sense.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And like they've got some pretty badass dreadlocks.
Oh, dude, fuck these things. So they attack these villages with like blow darts. Like
I'm seeing
like,
this.
And they get them, and they're like covered in this like black goop shit. I remember like it's fucking.
Oh my goodness! One just like
terrifying.
leapt on top of someone else and just like, holy fuck! Like the action in this is crazy right now. Like it's very quickly cut.
Yeah.
There's like quicksand and everything. This is insane. All right, I'm gonna stop watching that because I'm getting spooked now.
Nathan, this film
That
fucked
is
me
fucked up, Brenton.
This fucked me up.
How
This
old
is
were you
another
when
one
you
I-
watched that?
I would have been 7.
You saw this when you were 7. Who gave you access to Blockbuster? Like, Jesus, what was going on?
I was watching this, and I've never seen the end of this movie. I don't know how it ends. I don't know how he gets the fuck out of there.
Oh my
But I
God.
hope he does, because it is absolutely terrifying and horrible. And I hated the storyline of this movie because he got stuck in this shitty location with these, what are they called, Murlocs or Morlocks or something like fuck those things, man.
I was about to say, is it a good movie outside the horror?
I was really enjoying it up to that point. As a kid, I was like, this is really fun. This is really cool. What a great time. And then this shit started happening, and I was like, I can't handle this. It was really upsetting and traumatizing and just like,
oh my goodness.
terrifying. There's a scene
It looks like a good movie. If it was older than 20 years, I would say we should do it for the podcast.
So do I. I want to, once, because I think it came out 2002, once we're in like 2022, I want to do an episode on this. Like, because I want to go back.
We'll save it for 2022, Brenton.
Oh man, it's terrifying. It is absolutely terrifying. And if I had 2 hands to cover both my eyes right now, I would, because it was too much to take in. God,
Oh my
fuck
God.
those things.
Wow. I thought 2022 would be a monumental year because we could finally do the original Spider-Man in its full. I feel like Time Machine might even outweigh it.
Hey man, fuck that shit. Yeah, no.
Wow. No, I'm like, if I was a child, I 100% would never put on that movie. Like, my hands are very much covered for that scene, dude.
Dude, terrifying. Oh, I'm so fucked up, man. Like it's
Brenton's just like shook. He's just like shaking in the chair. He's just like, oh.
Sometimes I remember it, and I remember the scene, and I'm just like, oh, Jesus Christ. Like, no one needs to see that shit.
Do you ever go like hiking and like, you know, like school trips and you'd like look at the sand and just wait for these fuckers just to jump on out?
Totally, dude. Totally. You're just like, I wonder if there's any Morlocks about today. Fuck.
Oh, rip. It'd be great if they were attacking Guy Pearce and he fucking like transforms into the Mandarin from Iron Man 3. He just starts like hurling fire at them.
Yeah, totally. He turns around and he's like, I am the Mandarin.
He's got some stupid ass dragon tattoo. It's like, oh, Guy Pearce. It's like, oh, go back to Memento. It's like...
So, Nathan, what's your number 3, buddy?
My number 3, we've talked about this on the podcast, so I won't spend too much long on it, but I had to bring it up again because it's the truth that one of the most dramatic scenes from a movie is from Dumbo, Brenton, and it's obviously the pink elephant scene.
Oh my God. What a great pick, my friend. Like, what a classic pick, my friend. Like,
and if we hadn't talked about it before when we did fucking like Bambi, I would have, you know, done it here, but you know, I think what I really want to say, if you want to hear about my thoughts on the pink elephant, just go back to the Bambi episode. I think I did my full story in it there. But what I'll add to it, which I don't think I did mention to you, Brenton, at the time, is that, do you remember in when you grow up in Australia, you have like Gerald the giraffe come around to your schools and like teach you about drugs?
Harold. His name is Harold the giraffe.
Harold,
yes. How
sorry,
could we forget
jeez.
about Harold, our
I'm an
good
idiot.
friend Harold? Yes, gosh.
So
Josh.
if you're not Australian, for some reason, you like every school in Australia, including the one that Brent and I went to, like they have like this like van drive around where like these people sponsored by the government have to like tell children like 10 years old not to do drugs, even though kids obviously that age know not to do drugs, and they do it through like this puppet show where a woman quite obviously puts on like a giraffe puppet like through her hand and like says, "Don't do drugs, kids," and you're like, okay, Harold. Did you find this effective when you were a kid?
Well, I mean, I guess I did because I was one of those kids that really enjoyed going into the van.
I mean, you haven't done drugs, so like obviously it worked. Like,
hey man, I listen to Harold Harold. Whenever I find myself, you know, regressing, or I want to like, you know, I want to try a puff or something, you know, I'm just all like, no, Harold. He pops in there, you know.
What would Harold do?
You know, so it did. Yeah, it must have. Yeah, what would Harold do in this situation?
But I remember at the time, I remember saying, like, I think it was to a teacher at the time. I can't remember if it was a teacher or a friend. It was one of them. But I remember saying to someone at the time, like, oh, it's okay. I've seen Dumbo. I know not to take drugs.
Oh, Nathan, it's a good pick. I mean, like, I think I would have a hand covered for this one. I think it's a good choice, and I think it's worth being on. It's worth being on the list. I think I agree. I think this is a terrifying segment of a film, and fuck that shit, dude. Yep, no. We don't need to see it.
Yeah, no, both our hands are covered. Like, oh, yeah, we don't need to see it again. It's like, fuck that. It's like, fuck Dumbo. So, what's your number 2, Brenton?
So, Nathan, let me tell you about my number 2, because I can tell you about it because it's fucking scary. And it fucked me up for life when I was a child. Nathan, I'm talking about, and I'm sure I've spoken about this on the podcast before. I'm talking about Return to Oz.
Oh my goodness. You've talked about this movie, but not in good detail. So I'm
Nathan,
excited to hear
there's
about
many things I
it.
could talk about in this film. I could talk about the witch in this film, which is a witch who literally has a room of severed heads, which she takes off their pedestals and then removes her own head and then like changes them at will. So she'll like put other heads, like it's fucked up.
I only saw this movie once, and I think I blocked it out because it was that spooky. Like, I'm like, nah, fuck this.
Nathan, I could talk about that. I could talk about the weird, weird pumpkin character, like the Jack Pumpkinhead character. I could talk about... there's just so many things I could talk about. I could talk about the way that the world's just gone to shit and like the lion's been turned to stone and like the Tin Man's fucking rusted in place and can't like be oiled out of it. I could talk about that the yellow brick road's like been fucking destroyed, like decimated, and it's just like all these like great images of like a world that you like remember fondly have just been absolutely destroyed, and it's full on. It's a full on experience. But Nathan, what I'm here today to talk to you about is actually something that is just... words can't comprehend how fucking scary these things are. They're called the Wheelers.
Okay. Honestly, I don't think I've any memory of them. You might have to explain them to me.
Nathan, imagine the Joker. We all know the Joker as a great villain. We all know the Joker as a great villain, right? We can all imagine like that character, and you know that guy's fucking coming at you, and you just, it's something to be scared of.
Joaquin Phoenix, what a performance. Yeah.
Exactly. Imagine just like a bunch of like heroin addicted jokers who haven't who are regressing and like need some more heroin.
Jeez.
And want to come at you for some more heroin, but they're the Joker. And they, instead of having limbs, they have limbs. Sure, they've got limbs with like, but no hands and no feet. And they have like fucking wheels attached to like one wheel attached to each like arm and one wheel attached to each foot. And they wheel around. And they're coming to fucking kill you.
Jeez.
Because they think you're heroin and they want to sniff you. And so they're going to bash the shit out of you and then start like trying to inject themselves with you.
Oh my goodness.
Like that's what a wheeler is. Now, imagine a pack of them, as you've just discovered that Oz has gone to shit. The yellow brick road's been destroyed. You got a talking chicken with you. The Tin Man's rusted. The lion's like been turned to stone. You're like, what the fuck's going on? And then these fuckers turn up and chase you down an alleyway to a dead end. And they're all like, and you're just like, it is too full on. It is the start of the film. I want to go to the magical land of Oz and meet Glinda and shit. I don't need that in my life ever. Thank you very much. Fuck off.
Oh my goodness. I actually can't even remember these guys in the movie. Like, that is like, why are they there in the first place? What function do they serve?
So they are the equivalent, in terms of the story, they are the equivalent of like the flying monkeys.
Oh my
They're like
goodness.
the witch's minions, are these wheelers.
Obviously, it's funny because like people talk about the flying monkeys, but these sound way more spooky.
Dude, the wheelers are fucked up. I hate them. I hate them with a passion.
So what did this do to you when you watched it as a kid? Like who were you watching it with? Like what was the moment like for you when you first saw them?
I was watching it with my older sister Courtney. I was watching it with. Shout out to Courtney, and
shout out to Courtney for like sitting through me screaming at the television. Like
it was too much, dude. It was like I was thinking about these things for like months after watching this. Like it is horrifying. It is terrible. Do not let your children watch this film for those wheelers. It is fucked up.
I honestly have no memory of them, so it means that they didn't scare me enough for me to remember them. So I don't actually. Sadly, Brenton, I don't think I'm going to put my hand over my eyes. Like
Nathan, all I'll say is this: maybe they were so scary that like your subconscious has like removed that memory from your bank. And just fucking shred that. I wish my brain would do that because no. But no, that's all right, dude. I'm gonna cover my own eye because like
just like right now, you just want to just like I'm going to do this episode as a pirate now. Like
yeah, man.
Yeah. Love. The wheelers.
Love. Nathan, what is your number 2?
My number 2, Brenton. It's from the movie The Dark Knight.
Oh, right. Okay.
I'd like to throw in some curveballs there, Brenton. And it's something no one would probably expect. It's the scene where Christian Bale has just finished being attacked by the dogs. And so we see the new Batcave for the very first time.
Yes.
And Alfred's coming up to Bale and Michael Caine is just like, hello, you've been attacked by dogs, you have. And then we see like Michael Caine or whatever it is, like stitching up Christian Bale.
Stitching Bruce Wayne up. Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm mentioning this scene because the camera, for some fucking reason, just like pans and we see the perfect act of this needle of sewing skin together, you know? Like,
yes.
from the dog bites. And I mentioned, and Michael Caine's like, or just do some cocaine, that will make you better. And then Bruce Wayne's like, I fucking hate dogs, I does. I'm doing impersonation of you, Alfred. And Alfred's like, fuck off. I mentioned this scene because this scene is to represent every fucking movie that for some reason the director has chosen to give a close-up of characters being stitched.
Yep, Nathan, I agree. I agree with you. I think that you could use this as well as an example of films that have close-up shots of needles, like syringes going into the skin, into veins. Like,
I hate it.
Shit like that. I just don't need to see it, man. Like, no.
I've never seen a movie with it, and I never thought I'm glad it's there. Like, this really elevates the art. You know what I mean?
Totally, yeah.
Like, they're designed to make you squirm. They're cheap as hell. I've never wanted to see them. And they're the reason I fucking hate needles and stitches in the first place. Because you see this shit that is just unnatural. Seeing, like, skin sewn like a fucking, like, carpet, you know?
Yeah, as much as I love to sew carpets, like I see your point, and I agree with your point. I think it's a very
Brenton does it every day, like.
Yeah, no, I look, I think it's a great point. Like I hate fucking needles in film. I hate syringes in films, and I hate sewing in films.
And just like I love watching The Dark Knight. It's one of my favorite movies. But when this scene happens, I look away. I physically can't look at the screen.
Yeah, hey man, that's what this list is for. And I'm hoping that we can work through this together, and you can come out on the other side and hopefully feel better about this and you know, accept your trauma and move on with your life, you know. That's what we
Acceptance is the first step. Well, I bloody accept it with a hand over the eye, Brenton.
Well, Nathan, I'm glad you brought it up because I think you're representing a great kind of thing in the film, in filmography in general, of all these films that like featured like syringes or stitches, you know what I mean? Like, I just can't have it. It makes me squirm, and I don't like looking at it on the screen. So because of that, I'm gonna stand up with you, and I'm gonna put a hand over my eye.
Oh, perfect. I'm glad. Hopefully someone's listening to this where they're like, you know what? Maybe I won't put stitches in my movie. You know,
don't do it. Don't do it. Please don't do it. Well, Nathan, it's come to that time. It's time to head to our number ones.
It's time. It's.
Are you excited?
We've arrived.
Are you ready? Are you ready for this, Nathan? Now,
like, I'm already spooked from so much of what we said to, like, you know, I don't know how I'm gonna handle this because this is the most traumatic, Brenton. So I don't know how I'm gonna feel.
This is the most traumatic. This is the thing that's fucked me up, and I still think about it often. And I'll tell you why. Nathan, I don't know what film this is from.
What? Whoa! What a plot twist.
Okay, so I don't know what the film is. All I know is that my grandparents were watching this fucking movie this one night.
Oh my god. This is amazing.
And I walked in and I was kind of like, I was hanging out with them and they were in bed. And I was lying on the end of the bed. And the lights were off and they were watching this film. And it was this love scene. It was this scene between these two, you know, the central character was this male, and you know, he was kind of being entranced by this woman, and you know, they were getting along famously, and it was a great scene, and I kind of liked them as a pair, and I was like, wow, this is a really great scene. It was a long scene, and I was like enjoying the dialogue, and I was like a little kid. I was probably 4 or 5.
Okay. And
it was kind of set in like a medieval setting, you know, like so you know, and then they start kissing. And I was like, right. I was like, wow. I was like, cool, this is getting passionate. And he grabs this woman and he pulls her close. And I'm like, right, okay, well, and I kid you not, I was really enjoying this. Like I was just like, this is a really nice scene, and you know, these two people are very much in love and whatnot. Little did I know, Nathan. Little did little Brenton know, because as they're kissing, unknown to the man, this woman pulls out a fucking dagger beneath her dress. Oh my God. And as they're kissing and he's like entranced with her, reaches it over slowly over his back and like is holding it inwards as though she's about to like stab him. And and it's like this very slow motion as like she's pulled this knife out and she's like gonna fucking kill this guy. And as a kid, it was like the biggest shock horror thing of my life. And I was just like, it was such a turnaround. And I was just like so upset, so terrified, so traumatized by what was happening that I literally buried my head in the bed.
Oh my goodness.
And I didn't want to look at what had happened because I was like, I think this guy's dead or whatever's happened. And I looked up to the screen and my grandparents had made the right choice and had like turned the TV off, like when they saw what had happened. Like, and so I don't know what happened in that scene, whether the guy realized what was happening and got out of there. I doubt it. But it was such a betrayal to me as a child that like these people were so like in love and like getting along famously, and then
I thought you were gonna say like the grandparents for a second, like they'd allow you to watch it. Like,
no, they made the right call, but like I was like, because if he was to die in that scene, the dagger would have just slowly entered into his back. You know, it would have been like that scene in Saving Private Ryan, that knife fight where the knife like slowly enters his heart, and it's just like unbearable.
Oh,
to watch.
yeah.
Like, fuck, like I don't need to watch a knife slowly enter someone and like take the life from them. It's fucking horrible. But like that was the motion of what was about to happen to this poor bloke, and I never saw the end of it, and I can never find this film. It's a film, like it's a film that exists. It's not like a television movie. It was a film.
Wow.
I remember watching it, and I want to find out what it's from. So listeners, if you know what the fuck this is from, can you please let me know, because I'm still traumatized and I need to know what it's from so I can reconcile my feelings about it.
this is the real reason Brenton wanted to do the podcast.
I've never been more on edge, more terrified, more like absolutely like flabbergasted, and felt sick for days after watching like a piece of a movie. And I literally this physical response of I just like grabbed like the blankets and just buried my face in the bed, and I was just like, I can't watch this shit. Looked up and it was off, and I was like, oh thank God. But what happened to the guy? What happened to the fucking guy? Like, is he alright? Like, oh Nathan, it was all too much.
Aw. And it's funny because we'll never know. Like, we don't even know what happened to him.
I know. Nathan, my eye is covered. I hate that. I hate that I don't know about it. I think that's caused more trauma, and I need to know.
I want to be there with you, buddy, but like, I haven't seen this movie. Nor I'm thinking hard. I don't think I can think of what movie it is you would have seen, but like, it's like, oh, what a plot twist. It turns out it's not a film. It's like a home video your grandparents have. Like, like, oh, fuck. we won't let the grandkids spend to see this one. Like, yeah, nah, it sounds spooky, but honestly, like, I don't think in good conscience I can put my hand over my eye, because I need to really see how bad it is, like, to get that trauma. So, you know, but I'm so sorry you had to witness that. I'm so sorry your grandparents let you go through that.
That's they thought better of it and made the right call, but
do they remember? Have you brought this up to them and they know what movie it is?
Never in my life have I brought it up to them. So, you know.
Is it because of the trauma, or like, like, why not just ask?
I've just never really thought to be honest. Maybe it is the trauma, because like, you know, I always think about that movie though, and I'm just like, what the fuck happened? Like,
so listen, it's actually revealed that Brenton burned the
scene?
bridge with his grandparents after this experience. So, you know, he physically can't like, he physically can't go up to them anymore. You know, he's just like, the movie ruined it.
I think I'm going to find out one day what that movie was. I know I am. And on that day, I will let you know. I will let our audience know. And I'll finally be able to move on and have a happy life. Yeah.
You'll make peace. It's like at the end of Gladiator, where, you know, when he's finally done his job, it's like...
yeah, I'll go into the fucking cornfields.
Yeah. Brenton just like running in the cornfields. Like, I found out who got stabbed. Like, oh, okay, go for it.
So Nathan, now it's your turn. What is your number one?
Okay, so in the same way that my number two was kind of representative of like this thing that traumatizes me in movies, so too, Brenton, does my number one. So, and it's great. I'm so glad this is the movie I left till last, because we're going back to the Harry Potter universe.
Oh my God, here we go again, mate. I'm so glad we did this.
There's two things that amazed me about this 7 seasons so far. One is how much Harry Potter has featured in the both our lists. And two, we actually haven't had any actual horror films on this list.
I know.
I know. It's all been outside of the horror genre, which is why it's even more traumatic, because you don't even expect it. So, and never have I been more betrayed than I was in Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince, Brenton.
Nathan, interesting choice. I'm intrigued and want to know exactly what it was in this film that did traumatize you, because I must know, like, jeez.
There's only one thing that I think is the most natural of choice that would really traumatize people in this movie. And of course, it comes from the fucking cave that Dumbledore and Harry went to visit in this movie.
Right. Okay. So describe the experience, why it traumatizes you. I want to know.
So this was in the cinema, and and despite what Brenton and I have said today, Harry Potter overall is a pretty light franchise when it comes to scares. Like, there are a lot of fucked up things in it, but as a whole, even though we've given several examples today, as a whole, you know, it's not the scariest place to be. You know, this is not the pinnacle of spooks. You know, if you want to get spooked, you go to Paranormal Activity, you go to the fucking Exorcist, you do something like that. Anyway, so I was 13 when Half-Blood Prince came out, and I went into the cinema to see it, and it was opening day. And like, it was a packed cinema as well. And I'm watching this movie, and it's all like, teen angst and, all love potions and a lot of comedic laughs. And it gets to the scene where Dumbledore and Harry go into a fucking cave. And like Dumbledore's dying of thirst or whatever. So Harry goes like down to the water to fill up this like seashell with water. Because like apparently water spells don't work. And like he puts his like hand under and he gets some water up and he's like staring at the water as he's doing it. He's like, oh, what a lovely reflection. Fuck, I'm attractive. I'm Daniel Radcliffe. And he finally pulls the water out, like the seashell out. But as he does, like this zombie hand just leaps out of the water and jump scares the whole fucking room. And I have never leapt more off my seat than I nearly stood when the scene happened in the cinemas, because I did not expect a jump scare in this movie, and I was petrified. And you know what the worst thing was about this?
Nathan, I'm sorry to laugh. What was the worst thing about it?
I was sitting when I was watching this movie next to a girl I had a crush on at the time when I saw Half-Blood Prince, and I thought I was doing really well. And then I fucking screamed like a woman in pregnancy when this happened, Brenton.
Oh my gosh. Nathan, you can tell me this full story afterwards, but can you say the first name of this person that you were with that you were trying to impress out of interest?
I will. I'll tell you off air.
Is it someone that I would know?
Oh, you definitely know this person. I'll tell you off air.
Okay, cool.
So...
Okay, cool. This is amazing. What a story.
Because I thought in year 8 I was doing well with this girl, and then and there was like a bunch of us went to see this movie, and I'm like, fuck it, I'll sit next to her and I'll maybe like, I don't know, make some funny comment during the movie. And so we watched this film, and I think it's going fucking well, and we're all having laughs and shit, and at Ron being an idiot, and then this scene happens, and I fucking blow it. I'm like, fuck this jump scare, and fuck any movie that uses a jump scare, because I'm so sick of jump scares, Brenton. I hate them so much.
Nathan, I have to agree. I think jump scares are a blight on cinema goers everywhere. I hate jump scares. I think they are cheap, and I think they're nasty as well. And I hate it when it gets me as well, because I'm like, fuck you, movie, you got me, but you got me cheaply. So it's just they're not the best.
It's the worst. I understand why some people do get around them, because yes, it is the most visceral way you'll get scared in a movie and you really feel something strongly, but I've never seeked out that as my entertainment. And I blew it. And I remember that after that movie, I went to school the next day, and things changed, and I'm like, well, I'll never have a shot at that girl now. It's a closed book. So
They don't get me going as well. It's not why I go to see a movie, you know what I mean? Just to get cheaply scared by something that's just suddenly just bah! And there's a big musical cue of bah! And you're like, oh, but sometimes they get you, and it sucks when they do. And mate, that sounds like a corker of a moment that you'll remember forever. And I can understand why there is some trauma there. So mate, in honor of you and of all jump scares everywhere, I am going to cover one of my eyes.
Oh mate, my eye is covered with you, and also and with the other hand, I'm putting a finger up to David Yates.
Nathan, it is fair enough. But hey. That's our seasonal 7.
There we go, Brenton. We've done it. We've made it through the trauma, and we're only slightly shaking. So, what a bloody time of trauma.
Oh,
yeah.
I don't know how we're going to make it through the night, to be completely honest.
No.
I mean, gosh, there's going to be nightmares for sure at the wazoo, you know what I mean?
I really just because we're both working men, we have to record this at night, because now, as soon as you go, Brenton, I'm going to have to, lock all my doors and be like, oh, what's going to happen next?
And, and I'll be, walking home in the dark, you know what I mean? I'm going to, be seeing werewolves and shit, chasing me. It's going to be
or
nuts,
when you walk out my front door, I'll go oh, and you'll be like, shit.
Yeah, and I'll buy it as well. You'll just see me sprinting down the street, tripping a pothole or something, and be like, "Fuck no, Lupin, no!"
Oh, that's great. But Brenton, we're not done yet.
We're not.
Despite the trauma we
we're
feel.
Not done?
Well, speaking of trauma, buddy, we have to look back onto our 70s.
Oh,
I don't think
God.
It was a very easy retirement for you or me.
Oh God. Oh, the trauma.
Oh, no.
Nathan, maybe if we talk about it, we'll get over it again. I'm not sure.
I don't know, Brenton. I really don't, frankly. So, listeners, this is a segment where, if you're new to the show, this is where Brenton and I look back over the past 10 episodes we've done, and we like to give a retrospective yay or nay to the movies, because we've had some time to think about them, and also to give you a snippet if you don't listen to all the episodes of the podcast, whether you should just outright yes or no watch a movie. So, let's get into it.
Let's do it. Nathan, episode number 70 was the 10 Commandments, and we both said, yes, thumbs up.
We did. Looking back on that, like, do you think more about that movie?
No, nothing's changed, but I do think fondly back on it. You know, I still have fond memories of watching it.
I do, same. Like, it's pretty good for what it is. Like, especially for a 4-hour movie. Like, it's one of the rare ones that I think earns its runtime.
I do. I agree. So my thumb is still up. It's kind of sore at the moment.
But from the yes to the no, Brenton, we both... there's going to be a bit of a pattern here. From yeses to nos, Brenton, we both turned down the iconic Bond film with Pierce Brosnan, The World Is Not Enough. Have you grown more funnily on it?
No, fuck that movie. No.
It's so shit, isn't it? Jeez, like,
just not great.
We'll get to a good one eventually, Brenton. 72, we watched King of Comedy, Brenton. And we both gave the thumbs up. Have that changed?
Nathan, that has not changed at all. If there's anything on this list of 10 that has not changed, it is this. That is a great film, and I've thought about it constantly since we watched it. And
Same! This is one of the rare episodes of the podcast where, like the movie really sticks with me, where I just keep thinking about it. Like, it's fucking excellent. And what I love as well, what I was good, now that we can talk about this, like, with Joker, I was so scared the Joker was going to be, like, a blatant rip-off, but I love the Joker wasn't that. Like, they did very different things to King of Comedy, and they didn't do an outright, like, remake of it.
Totally. It was still inspired, but... it didn't...
I know.
Yeah, the thing with inspiration, I feel like, that is thrown around nowadays, especially in the age of remakes, reboots, soft reboots and everything, is like, this is inspired by the original characters, whatever. What's great about Joker, I think, is that, like, you know, you take... It literally is using the word inspiration as it's meant to be used, in the sense of, like... Sure, there's elements of it that could be attributed to this, and it's been inspired by it, but it does its own thing, and that's wonderful.
Exactly. So, no, King of Comedy, even if you've seen Joker, watch King of Comedy, because it does very different things, and I think, even though very similar, I think you'll get a lot out of it. So
Rupert Putman, man, what a character.
Oh, tell you what. 73, Lord of the Flies. We both turned it down, because that's like a horseshit movie, isn't it?
It's a tough one. Like, this one's tough because, like, part of me still wants to say yes because I think there's elements of it, but then the other part of me goes, you know what? Read the fucking book, you know? Read the book and move on with your life, you know?
Oh, jeez. And, like, a movie should almost inspire you to read the book, but definitely not for the reasons this movie's doing it.
So, Nathan, then we reached episode 74 where we reviewed A Few Good Men, and we both gave it a thumbs up for Tom Cruise, and you said he was overacting, but he wasn't. So, A Few Good Men...
Like, I stand by that performance. It is a weird performance he gives in A Few Good Men. Like, that hasn't changed.
Nathan, I'm
but I still think it's worth
watching. As a film, I'm going to still give it a thumbs up. I think it's great. I think Jack Nicholson, that monologue is worth the price of admission alone. I think the film, though, is got a wonderful screenplay, and and its filmmaking serves its story pretty well. So I think it's an important watch. I think it's worth watching.
I agree, but I will say again, I don't think it's one of those movies that stick with you that much. Like, I think it's got some great scenes, but I don't know, I wanted it to dive deeper. So that's where I sit on it.
So Nathan, then we went to episode number 75, where we reviewed that fucking awful movie Road Games that Quentin likes for some reason. But...
It's not bad, Brenton. I had fun with it. I wouldn't recommend it, but it's still a very fun time.
Our thumbs are still both down for this one, so do you want to change that around, Nathan?
Oh no, I would be an idiot if I recommended it. Like, I really love... I didn't love it, actually, no. It's got so many issues, but, like, I had fun with it. Like, it's just a stupid portrait of this bloke in Outback Australia, and I fucking love it. But I'm biased. If I wasn't Australian especially, I think I would loathe this film. So, like, no. No, of course you shouldn't watch Road Games, but I had fun with it. So Twister and Tremor, Brenton, our unity is no longer intact because we were divided. So Tremors, Brenton, you said yes and I said no. Do you stand by it?
Absolutely. This is a perfect...
No, Brenton, come on.
This is the perfect rainy day. It's a Sunday and it's raining. It's pissing down and you're inside with the family. You've brought the dogs inside as well and everyone wants to watch a film and you sit down and you watch this and you have a bloody jolly good time.
And you decide to put on Tremors.
Yeah, and you have a jolly good time. You have a laugh at the pole vaulting montage and, you know, it's a good time, man. It's not the best movie. I'm not saying it is. I'm just saying...
It is a good time. And you and I, we had a good drink and we had a good time when we watched it together, I must say. Exactly. That's what I get out of this film. Your thumbs are still down though for Tremors. Should I give it a thumbs up? It's not good. It's not good, Brenton.
I mean, hey, I'm not saying it's a great movie. I'm just saying it's a fun time.
Oh my goodness. Oh.
Yeah.
Fine. Well, where we do agree on, we both say no to Twister, Brenton.
Oh God, I don't even want to talk about that. That's got a thumbs down. It's going to remain that way.
What a failure of a film. It had so much it could have done.
It's terrible.
A tornado movie.
It's truly terrible. And with the cast it has, terrible. And what a mess. It's such a mess. Like
it's almost like a tornado itself just ripped through the screenplay.
Exactly. Exactly. Well, Nathan, then we moved on to episode 77, Double Sevens, and we did that classic, The Wild Wild West, starring our good friends Kevin Kline and Will Smith. And I don't remember this, but I gave it a thumbs down and you gave it a thumbs up.
Yes.
Nathan, I'm changing that.
Brenton.
My thumbs are going up for this.
Yes!
I'm flabbergasted that I gave it a thumbs down. Yeah, for hell yeah, I'm giving it a thumbs up.
Yes, because it's so good. You at the time, I knew it would grow on you, because it's one of those movies, the more you think of, the more fucking incredible it is. It's amazing, isn't it?
Oh, it's great. It is fantastic. It is ridiculous. Don't get me wrong. It's got some problems, but...
I'm so happy you came around, because at the time you were like, no, this is a bad film. I'm like, no, Brenton, it's excellent filmmaking. You just need to sit on it for a bit.
I'm still not going to say it's excellent filmmaking, but it's worth a watch and it's a fun time.
Oh, it's so much fun. I just want to be back on that train. I want to be back with the giant spider. It's just fun, Brenton. What a good time.
So,
78, Brenton. We move on to Big. Tom Hanks is Big.
Tom Hanks
and
is
you
Big.
said yes, and I said no. So
I stand by my decision here, man.
I can see why. It's a sweet film, but again, I wanted them to do more with the movie. I wanted it to be the most wild, whoa example of what happened if a child suddenly became an adult.
Hey man, I gotta say, this is, like I said on the episode, I think this is the best in its kind of subgenre. I think in those child becoming big, let's call it that. I think it explores a lot of things that some of the others don't do, and I think it has the balls, as I said, to take these characters in places that other films probably wouldn't do for maybe good reasons, but I enjoyed that it did that, and I like the relationships in this movie. I like the characters in this movie. Tom Hanks is great in this film. Yeah, thumbs up from me.
Oh. Well, I'm sticking down with that nobody, but that's okay. That's okay. We'll let the listeners decide if they want it or
good.
not.
We'll start a poll on Twitter. 79 was last week, and we did Dirty Harry. Is he clean yet? We don't know.
We did Dirty. We need to
hose
Harry.
him down. Jesus. Nathan, we both gave it a thumbs up.
We did. I mean, it's only been a week, but I don't know. Are you I don't think I would change it to a no. I don't think anything's...
No, nothing's drastically changed in my mind, so it's still two big thumbs up for Dirty Harry.
Yeah. Watch Clint Eastwood just be very dirty the whole movie. Watch out. Well, Brenton, that was our movie traumas. Are you still very shook, buddy?
Been shaken to my core. But thank God you were here, Nathan, to talk it out with me, because I feel like I've come out on the other side a stronger person, both physically and mentally. So thank you for that.
We've dealt with it, and please, as we say at the end of every 7 seasons, please let us know what traumatized you as a child. Because these are only a handful of them. When I was chatting to my mates about it, they're like, oh, fuck, there's so many movies that still haunt us to these days. So let us know on all the socials.
And you can always find us, obviously, via email, via our Twitter accounts. You can see us on YouTube in that comment section. You can even try and find us in Sydney, but, maybe don't do that. And obviously...
Just look for a man with a lot of, Band-Aids.
Obviously, we're into our 80s now, and you can listen to all of our upcoming episodes and episodes from the past on SoundCloud, on the podcast app, and on YouTube. But that's about it from us. I mean, I need to go now and sit down with a therapist and really, talk things out again and just make sure that I'm okay. I think I will be, though, but it's just, I just keep thinking about those werewolves, man, and it just gets to me.
It's okay, Brenton. Oh, no, wait. Is that a full moon outside my house? Oh, no, Brenton. I have a secret to reveal.
Oh, what? Nathan? What, Nathan? What, your eyes are turning... What?
Ow!
Oh, they're real. Dad was wrong.